Football star Travis Kelce proves that weed and football go together like SNL and weed go together.
The father of cannabis passes away at 92.
Locally, telehealth for cannabis patients may be coming back for good.
All this in a bag of chips on today's show.
Hey, are you tired? Because we're tired. We're dragging ass because of the stupid time change.
Running on fucking fumes.
And all the fun we had this weekend. We can't wait to talk about it with you. I'm your host, Sunny D.
And I'm Captain J.
And we're the Pot Smoking Moms. If this is your first time here, welcome. We're so glad you made it. If you're an old timer, welcome back. We're glad you're here. If you like our show, please rate, subscribe, share, hit the like button, smash the subscribe button. All of that helps us immensely. So please do all of that. Connect on all social medias, potsmokingmoms.com. That's our website. Go there and you can connect on all platforms with us, and stay tuned for some more events on that website.
I don't know about you, but I'm ready to hit this gas, to give myself some gas, because I'm like, woo.
I know, we're teetering on the edge of...
We had quite an eventful weekend, which we're going to talk about.
Yes, so if you don't have something to smoke, gather your supplies ready. We've got our bowls packed, and we're headed for a Fluent Smoke Sesh. This segment is brought to you by Fluent. Please go to our link in our Instagram. There's the rewards link is posted. Actually, we might have a QR code there.
There you go.
You could scan that with your phone and enroll in the rewards program that Fluent gives you. That way, every time you go get your herb, you got a little surprise waiting for you in the background.
Mm-hmm. Or just scan it, check out their menu. That helps us just getting the traffic through our link. Does help support our podcast. So that would be very helpful for you. Check out their menu. And what I have off their menu tonight is the Triangle Kush, a legendary indica dominant hybrid that was first cultivated here in the Sunshine State. When you first experience Triangle Kush, you'll be struck by its pungent and earthy aroma, which is accepted by notes of lemon and spice. The flavor is equally complex with hints of spicy herbs and a touch of sweetness on the exhale. Triangle Kush delivers a powerful and relaxing high that is perfect for unwinding after a long day. How about a long weekend?
How about a long, fun weekend?
Yeah.
I got some Emerald Fire OG. It's a hybrid. Emerald OG is balanced hybrid from Fire OG and Emerald Diesel genetics. Pungent floral citrus aromas and flavors dominate, followed by hints of warm vanilla. Emerald OG is ideal for evening use, quickly carrying the consumer into deep physical relaxation paired with slight cerebral effects. In addition, consumers of Emerald OG have noted benefits in relieving symptoms associated with insomnia, chronic pain, anxiety, and PTSD. Thank you, Fluent. Cheers.
Love the new smoke sesh graphic by Uncle Jesse. Thank you. It's smoky in here.
Hey, if you're watching us on YouTube, smash that likes button. I don't like saying that. That sounds so cringy. Hit that subscribe or YouTube button.
You could say other things.
Your like button.
Smash that like. It's not really a button, I guess. Well, I guess it's a button in the
like clickety click.
Clickety click. The what thumbs up?
Yes, thumbs up this video on YouTube. And if you are listening to us over on our other platforms, please go over to our YouTube. We post videos there as well. Subscribe there. We're trying to get that popping.
You can see all the graphics of all the stories we're talking about. profile pictures, we bring up Dee's beautiful faces at some of the reactions she makes to the stories. So yeah, check it out on YouTube. We had quite an eventful weekend. We did our PSM Orlando meetup, the one that we've been waiting for months. It finally came and went so quickly. It was so much fun.
It
We
was
had such
lots
a
of
blast.
fun. We had a couple of new people that we hadn't seen in real life before. It was pretty great. We went to Universal. I honestly
Dinner was good, right?
dinner at
Let's start at the
Maggiano's was
beginning.
great. Sorry,
Friday.
that's right.
Start with the beginning.
Dinner.
Friday. At Maggiano's, we had a party of 11.
What a nice restaurant.
Very delicious. Great service. Our waitress was amazing.
She was on it.
On it, big time.
Position 1, position 2, because like when you're in a big party and you're trying to do split checks, it can really be. I was a server, and that was like the nightmare for me.
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
hard. So she had her shit going. It was lots of fun. We had some delicious yummies,
and then we all had leftovers to take back.
We all had leftovers to take back.
And then smoking, and of course,
yeah,
at the Airbnb in the back, lots of that.
Yeah,
we couldn't smoke in the rental because you guys smoked in the rental on the way up, and then like we were worried about it smelling like weed.
Oh, but tell them, right? So we smoked on the way up in the car, and then when we got there, we started freaking out a little bit because like it felt stuck. Like it's stuck in the car.
Yeah.
But the following morning, when we had been out of the car for a longer period of time,
no, we got in again and we thought it still smelled like weed, and we were still worried. It was like, it
was like a whole day of hopping in and out of the car, going, man,
it smells like weed.
Still smells like weed.
Because even when we came back in from the park, at one point we're like, it smells like weed, and then we went back in at one point. I almost peed myself. I was laughing so hard. After overnight, I got in the car. I was like, I don't think it smells like weed, and she's like, me either. Christy came over and I was like, she's like, oh, I think it's us.
I think it's us. We're the ones in the car that smell like the weed.
I was like, because I kept saying, is anybody bringing their like stash with them? Like, is it
right? Because if it's in the car,
it's gonna smell like weed.
Right.
Even if we're not smoking it, just having it in the car makes the car like
Let
reek.
me say this, those little smell proof bags that we have, I've never had to like put them in a real life scenario.
We're gonna definitely get that in our merch store when we get our
store. But those
bags are
really
convenient. They lock and they keep the smell in really
because
good.
I would open it and it would be like every time, and I would close it and then we go shut back up, and then when I open it, it would be like so those little stash bags work pretty great.
And we went hard the next day at Universal.
Oh my god! But especially
but we did it right.
We did it hard in Universal, and then we fucking teetered out right when we got to Islands of Adventure. We were all like,
after 4:00, it was like almost like 5:00 when we arrived.
I mean, can we put it into perspective? We rode every ride at Universal except for the Fast and the Furious.
And the Rip Rocket,
right?
Fast and Furious. Those are the two those are the only two that we didn't ride there.
And can I say this? We could have totally like skipped the fucking Minions ride because that shit did not do me good. And
that's the worst line that we had out of all of them.
It was
the longest that we waited. I don't know if it was just because we first got there and I was just like
anxious or something.
Yeah.
Well,
like, and plus the shrooms are kicking in.
Okay.
And I'm in this line.
Let me talk about that also. Okay. Because we got shrooms for everybody, and okay.
And the goodie bags we got magically blended to make some little chocolates for our girls. Thank you, Canna Shay,
which was at dinner on
she came
Friday.
to dinner with us on Friday, so everybody had a little. So how was your experience?
So
what do you want to say?
Okay, this is kind of like double layered because on the one hand, okay, can you think back to when you were a kid and remember the conversations your parents had when you were like in the theme park, when you were like riding rides, and what kinds of like stuff they would say about the rides?
No.
Okay. No. Well, I have very fond memories of my family, my parents being upset with rides
all the time because they're short.
Because because of how much it shook them around. Okay. So I remember, so the Minions ride, for those old school, like Florida peeps who have gone to Universal since they were children, Universal Studios, Hanna-Barbera was the original. This was like the original ride there.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't think I rode that.
You didn't ride that?
I don't think so.
So I rode that a lot of times. I have also fond memories of Nickelodeon Studios on Universal, and I was very heartbroken when they removed that.
That was
Even
sad.
it was very. I don't even want to talk about it. Nickelodeon has a special place in my heart. I'm
They
sure
should
very
bring it
lots of
back.
millennials, but Hanna-Barbera was there, and I remember writing this, and I remember my parents going, "A eso se mueve mucho." Like, my neck, my back. Oh, see,
Oh,
there it
there.
is. So
I remember
that's
seeing that.
Hanna-Barbera, and right across from it, they're working on it. It's gonna be something else, but it used to be Alfred Hitchcock too, and that's
Oh yeah, I remember that.
yeah, and that was a pretty
Damn, I
cool
forgot about the how Alfred. Oh,
Alfred
damn,
Hitchcock,
I
and it
forgot
was
about
like
that.
behind the scenes, and they would get people
Yeah.
out of the audience, which is cool because it's like studios. That's what like the whole idea is like,
Movies,
you
movie
know.
studios.
So Hanna-Barbera, and they would just go off about how much it shakes them and how much they couldn't deal with the shaking. Here we go. We're writing the fucking Minions right. It's now the Minions right.
And now you're 40 saying the same
And
shit.
now I'm 40. Look
Oh.
at that. That's an old
Put that back
school
up.
image of
Hanna-Barbera, the Fantastic
Universal
World.
theme park.
Oh my god, I remember that picture.
Well, that was a whole thing. It was like a bunch of different characters. And then when you would get off the ride, there was like a Flintstones car that you could take photos in. But
I may have ridden it and I don't remember.
And so the thing is if you remember the ride, like it's the same ride with different visuals. Okay. So it's just like the Back to the Future / Simpsons ride. If you remember
I remember
Back to the Future ride,
yeah.
you would remember all the details. Like when you're walking through, you're like, oh, this is the part, and when you watch the video in the little compartment, or whatever, the little closet before you get into the car or the car, whatever.
Yeah, the little room.
It was Doc telling you like how it works and what's going to happen and how,
safety shit.
And it was great. I feel like when it was Back to the Future was such a great ride. It was
a great ride. I wish they could just like bring that back for like a big anniversary of the movie or something.
Oh my God.
It's gone.
Such a good movie too. Simpsons just as nostalgic. I mean, I love Simpsons Land. That's one of my favorite parts of the whole park.
We got to eat at
Moe's. That was cool. The beers there is good too.
Like it's hard to get a table in that space, and we got a big table where we all were able to sit because it's very small. That area, specifically the most bar.
Everything looks so much like The Simpsons, and even just watching The Simpsons on the TV is like so much fun.
I wanted to all sit at the bar so bad, but there was no chance to get like 8 spots in a row.
You guys did good with the table. That was awesome. And then, man, like, when we get off the Hanna-Barbera ride, like. That shook my guts to fuck. Oh, the Minions ride. That shit shook my guts out. And then as soon as I get out, Captain J is in my face going, look at the roller coaster. Are you sure you want to get on that? And I look back and the roller coaster's like, wah, wah, wah. And I'm just like, oh.
I was like, look at that drop. Look, are you sure you want to do that?
Oh my God.
Because it's like,
my stomach was.
Then it has this big ass drop. And then it goes upside down as it fucking swirls. There's a Despicable Me ride that we went on. Thank you. And then like it does these swirls as it goes upside down. So I was like, are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah. And especially not while I'm like peeking with the mushrooms and then my tummy's like driving me nuts after getting my guts shaken out on the whatever Despicable Me.
And to be clear, we took micro doses.
Yeah, we didn't get crazy with the cheese
like
whiz.
Being like, woo.
Yeah, I didn't want to have to,
Yeah, there was a caramel and a chocolate.
And the caramel was so
point.
Good.
Yeah, the caramel was amazing. They were each 0.25 each, so together it's 0.5. It's like you eat one in one part of the day and one in the rest of the part of the day.
I ate both of them, and
my
tummy was my tummy was not happy with that decision.
I honestly didn't take the chocolate and the caramel. I was like, I'm gonna save those for another day, and I took my capsules that I had because I've had those a little longer, so I want to use them. And so those are ones that I made myself from shrooms I got from Shay. So they were 0.3 each. So I took like 0.6. So for a minute there, I was like, woo. It was nice.
Fun times. We were so exhausted at one point. It was just like, and then it was like, yeah, your body just.
By the time we got to Harry Potter World, we had done a lot. a lot. And then we took the Hogwarts Express to the next park. And by the time we got there, we're done already. Like,
Yeah.
we couldn't do the freaking Hagrid ride, the new ride, because it's not included in the fast pass. And we're like, oh, great, thanks.
Yeah, and screw that. Them fast passes were fucking expensive as shit.
And they were worth it though, because
They were worth it because I'm not waiting in no lines.
we were able to get through lines quick with that.
Spider-Man ride.
Oh my God. We did ride the Spider-Man ride on the way out. It was going to be our last ride to leave. And it freaking breaks down.
It breaks down.
And it was creepy. You know, we're like, the screen was acting all crazy. They were going in backwards.
And then some people were clowning in the back, screaming like bloody murder. And
sections
we were just like,
of the ride, and we can't see the other groups of people, but they started screaming like,
yeah,
like if they were being killed. Sorry if I scared anybody with that.
No, these people scared the crap out of us.
Yeah,
we're all like,
some of our group were like, oh my God, I'm starting to get scared. What's happening? I was like, people are just clowning. They're just, don't worry, they're fine. Nobody's dying.
Yeah, and I feel like that ride has been cursed to like freaking break all the time. It happened to me before.
And then the fiasco of Pollo Tropical after that. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Trying to get food on the way home.
Please. I was so over everything at that point.
An hour to get Pollo Tropical.
Yeah.
I was like, dying to get home, and this fucking
the restaurant crashes.
And and you guys all ordered ahead
mobile
on the mobile, and it was still those poor workers. Mm-hmm. It was a bad night for them.
All the moms had to jump behind the counter and start cooking up their own shit. It was really intense.
But I got in that jacuzzi when we got back to the Airbnb after I ate, and then I got in the jacuzzi for a while. Oh my God, it really helps with my feet. I was putting my feet on the jets. I was like, yeah, a little foot massage there, and the water was nice and hot. You knocked out.
Soaking it up. I was struggling so hard, it's like a combination of things.
Yeah.
My energy runs out, my social meter runs out, my head starts to hurt. It was
a long day.
I got there, like took so long to get our food that I wasn't even hungry anymore. I was just like tired. When we got back to the house, I said, let me take a shower. Maybe that'll wake me up, give me some life. I did that. Nothing. I said, surely it is food. I need to nourish my body with food. I started poking around my food. I was like, this is awful. I don't want any of this. And so I was like,
you just needed rest.
Yeah. I was like, let me just go in the room and just shut it down because there's nothing else. And let me tell you, it was beautiful. I'm so glad I went to sleep.
You needed it. You weren't the only one. Jenny ended up upstairs with using one of the bath bombs.
I was happy. I was very happy for her. That's a mom of toddlers, of kids, small kids. Yes,
no chance to take any luxurious baths.
It was so cute. She was like, when I woke up in the morning after I got fucking roasted by all you bitches. She was in the kitchen with me and she was like, last night I just ended up using that bath bomb because I'm never going to get an opportunity to have a bath where I could use the bath bomb. And I was like, hell yeah, I love that for you. Back to you guys roasting me, which was great. These bitches hadn't seen me all night because I disappeared because I was feeling, we
were really high, by the way, when you came out.
In the morning, by the way,
wake and bake.
I know
it gets you.
I also took a long time to get out of like my room because I was just like
first thing in the morning.
Listen, when you have two small children, being alone is like fucking awesome. Like it's rare. You don't get to be alone very much. It's like you fantasize of being alone. I remember last trip, one of the other moms who we missed because she didn't come this time, Shelby, she had booked an extra night at a hotel to just be alone. And I was like, yeah, girl. Yeah, that sounds so good. So I was just like, yeah, it locked up in my room. That bed was like a giant marshmallow. And I was just like, yeah. But then when I got out, for reference, I packed stuff. I didn't pack the right shoes. Okay. And then I have articles of clothing, which I'm sure lots of you have this issue, right? Where you buy something, it's not exactly like, doesn't fit you terribly, but it's kind of snug. You're not very confident in it, but you think, I don't want to return it. I don't want to go through the hassle. And then you think maybe one day I'll either be confident enough to pull it off or I'll lose a couple pounds and it'll fit right. So I put on this red and white striped top. Okay. Also, to give you reference, I had originally bought it with the intention of doing like a Disney dupe to look like Julia from Luca.
Okay.
Right. So in the context of that, right, that would have worked out. I wasn't really sure about wearing it. I threw the top on. I was like, I think I'm gonna change this, but let me just get out here, smoke, and then whatever, go back in and like change. Yo, as soon as I go out, not a good morning in sight, bro. These bitches went right to, why are you looking like a pirate? And I was like, my God.
You look like a pirate.
You look like a pirate. And then the other one, Salta, on the other side with, or where's Waldo? And I'm like,
I was gonna say,
bitch,
well,
a
Waldo.
pirate, and where's Waldo?
But
Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. But it was a good roast.
It
and
had
I was
nothing
like,
about the way it fit. It's just, it was red and white stripes.
So it's very.
So it looked like a pirate shirt to me.
Yeah. And that's why.
With black pants.
Uh-huh. It does.
Is red and white. This is what you were wearing.
Exactly. And then I saw this later at Disney store and I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to show these bitches who the pirate is. And I'm going to commit to that theme one day, maybe, do the pirate theme, because like, why not? But right on, that was pretty funny. And I did change shortly thereafter. So, and then brunch is always awesome.
Always
Chef
delicious.
Art in Disney Springs. We always have the game plan. We go, put our name down, go shopping.
Come back as soon as they call us, sit down and stuff our faces.
Oh, and the food there is so good.
Our waiter was very nice, but unfortunately not as good at big party systems as our first waitress in the dinner. But
Justin.
We were cool. He was, we didn't want to stress him out. Yeah. He was from Miami.
He was, his tag said from Miami.
I didn't notice it. Yeah. How they always say the cast members where they're from.
Yeah. So it was cool though. We met with another friend, another mom that had gone to the Bud Crawl back last year, the end of last year. And she was super cool to hang out with. And then another longtime patron came out. She brought two of her girlfriends, which is awesome because you always know, really cool. Good people bring good people, and all the good people become friends with the good peoples. So that was really fun. Hopefully you will meet up with us one day. Sign up for our Patreon if you want to get in the loop, and that way you never miss a beat.
And speaking of our next event coming up, the Bud Crawl. So we're doing that May 6th.
Bud Crawl in Miami.
Get discounts on tickets on everything that we do as far as any events that are ticketed. So
so do that. Become
May
a patron.
Miami.
Or
our pictures.
Look at our pictures. It looks so cute blown up.
Yeah.
They look so cute.
First picture is us at after the brunch. Everybody that went to brunch. The next picture, that's us in front of the Hogwarts Express. Us in front of entering Universal. Oh, bottom left. I'm going to leave that for last. I'm going to go to the bottom right. You guys, I think you guys are Diagon Alley, right?
Yeah, we are. We were getting
waiting for beer
and butterbeer and beer.
Yeah, I remember. We went to go watch the puppet show while you guys are in line for beer. And then us at dinner at Maggiano's. Look at Shay there in the front. Miss Crystal there in the back. That was a lot of fun, that dinner.
Then
this the finale.
After brunch, one of our homies, our longtime homies, Peaches, we were like, yo, you're local. Tell us, where can we go spark a spliff up before we take our homies to the airport?
I was like, it has to be close to the airport. It has to be somewhere we could just like smoke outside real quick. And she's like, yeah, there's a park like right there, right by the airport. Man, perfect.
Sure enough.
So there we are at the table after we just finished sparking up. I think we were just about to light that one.
We just stuffed. So cute. Yeah, that's that was our last one.
And the wind out there, we're all blocking the wind so you could stuff the cone.
Yeah. That was nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful day too. The weather was perfect.
Both days were gorgeous.
Yes.
Fantastic. And we're already haven't left yet, and we're already planning our next thing.
Oh, we were already planning boats.
Yeah.
What was it? Boats, blunts.
Beaches, boats, blunts, and bitches.
I know that's gonna be
all the bees.
That's gonna be wild.
So we're looking to do that in mid-July, like a beach meetup, maybe. Look into getting a boat. Going out to the sandbar.
Boats and hoes. I gotta have my boats and hoes.
All right. So stay tuned for the Miami Bud Crawl. And that's it. I think we're ready to get into the show.
Yes. We got a little segment y'all love so much. News Nugs.
News
News
Nugs, where we get high and read the news to you. On SNL, Super Bowl winner Travis Kelce praises pot. It's a little clip of it. So he said, smoking pot might get you suspended from a team, but you can still win the Super Bowl twice. Kansas City Chiefs tight end and Super Bowl champion Travis Kelce said in so many words during his monologue on NBC's SNL Sunday evening. I think this was like 2 weekends ago. Because I think recently was, what's her name? Wednesday Addams.
Oh, yeah?
With a second Super Bowl title under his belt, Kelce became the 34th athlete to host SNL, joining the ranks of athletes such as Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, and Ronda Rousey. ESPN reports. The Kelce family attended the taping of SNL at the Studio 8H in Manhattan. Philadelphia Eagles center and Kelce's brother, Jason, joined for one of the skits on SNL. The brothers were one of the top topics of the Super Bowl week in Glendale, Arizona, given that they play against each other. Both brothers began the game with one Super Bowl ring, but younger brother Travis was the one who walked out with a second ring in a 38-35 nail biter. So yeah, it was like a Super Bowl and brothers were playing against each other.
Damn, what are the odds that two brothers go and they get to be on the NFL and play against each other
in the Super Bowl?
I mean,
they're
it's
both
not the
going
first
for their
time,
second
that's
Super
crazy.
Bowl win.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty amazing.
Jason and I have actually been playing football together since we were little kids, and he was always better than me at everything. In high school, he was an honors student, and I got kicked off the team because I failed French. And English too, but French sounds way better. And then when we were in college, I actually got kicked off the team because I tested positive for marijuana. So it just goes to show you, if you smoke weed and you're bad at school, you can win the Super Bowl twice.
He's so handsome.
Yeah. I don't even know who this. You're the football person.
Yeah. He's very popular. He's very handsome. He even had a dating show. It was like Catching Kelce or some shit.
He was like the contestant, the bachelor,
and it was a bunch of women competing to be on with him. Yeah, ooh, the hearts around Travis Kelce. If my mom knew we were talking about him, she'd be like, yeah, because she's a big Chiefs fan.
She likes it. Oh, he's in the Chiefs?
Yeah, he's on the Kansas City Chiefs, the ones that won the Super Bowl.
Word. Kelce's been smoking pot for a while, since his days playing in college in 2010. He was suspended for a full year from playing with University of Cincinnati Bearcats after he tested positive for THC. I got kicked off the team for having a little too much fun off the field, he said, as reported by the Kansas City Star. He nearly quit football over the ordeal.
Oh, wow.
But the incident doesn't appear to have impacted his view on cannabis. But fortunately, Kelce didn't stray from his path to the Super Bowl and kept playing despite the setback of missing a full year. The Inquirer reported in 2021 that the Bearcats transformed him into a tight end. The rest is history.
Pot and the NFL. Numerous former NFL players. I didn't want to read National Football League, and I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
have spoken to High Times about the benefits of pot, such as Ricky Williams, also a Dolphin, Edmund Britton, Kyle Turley, Jake Plummer, and the list goes on. Many of them have invested in cannabis brands. Things are slowly changing regarding cannabis in the NFL. Since April 18, 2021, NFL players no longer have to stress about testing positive for cannabis and random drug tests from the league. Wow. That's fantastic. It is a new era in the NFL.
Didn't we report?
We did.
Yeah, a long time ago, huh?
Yeah, that they were going to stop testing for it.
Yeah.
It's just, I forgot.
Well, it was like baseball first.
Yeah, it was baseball. I think
football.
I think it was like baseball, basketball, baseball, and then now football. It is a new era in the NFL thanks to a new collective bargaining agreement that was negotiated last year, and that established a new drug policy for the league. The NFL announced in a press release on February 1st that it would be providing $1 million to two different researchers at the University of California, San Diego UCSD, and University of Regina, UR, and Canada. Both research groups will be focusing on how cannabinoids can aid in general pain management, with a few other goal studies as well. Players like the Kelce brothers won't have to worry much about testing positive for pot nowadays.
Yeah,
so more, less. Why don't they do that for jobs, like just nationwide?
Yeah, I know. It's really workplace protections and stuff like that have to be something we advocate for.
Everyone's protections. So this story's I mean, it's not too sad. He had a very long life, but the father of cannabis, Raphael Mechoulum, died at 92. I hope I'm saying his last name correctly.
Yeah, I think so.
So Raphael Mechoulum, the first person to synthesize THC, earning him the moniker of the father of cannabis science, has died. Analytical Cannabis reports. He was 92 years old, and his legacy will most certainly live on for centuries to come. The esteemed chemist is also called the father of cannabis research. Some of his additional game-changing contributions to drug science include isolating and synthesizing other cannabinoids, such as CBD, CBG, and CBC. While THC, CBD, and CBG are basically household names today, that would not be the case if it weren't for Dr. McCollum. So smoke one out for him in remembrance. A medicinal chemistry professor at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem in Israel, his work laid the groundwork and got the ball or blunt rolling to prompt future breakthroughs such as illumination into the human body's internal cannabinoid receptors in the 1980s and 1990s, as detailed in the 1993 academic paper titled Molecular Characterization of Peripheral Receptor for Cannabinoids.
Say that fast for 5 times.
That's so sciencey.
Science.
Cannabis science. Make sure to pay your respects today, as the Dr. McCollum's friends and fellow scientists are. As I actually saw Riley post a TikTok about his passing, and she said the same thing. Smoke one for him.
Nice.
As you pass the piece around with your buddies, this is a very sad day for me, for the science community, and for the cannabis community. Professor Raphael Mechoulum, or as we called him, Rafi, was one of the greatest scientists I've ever met and was my teacher and my mentor in many aspects. I truly believe he deserved a Nobel Prize, wrote David Deddy Mary, an associate professor at Tech Iron.
Girl, I'm gonna give you a medal after that.
Institute of Technology, and one of McCollum's colleagues, and a touching online statement. Thank you, Rafi, for all the great things you did and discovered in your life, and thanks for all the help and support you gave. Rest in peace, my dear friend. He continues. Oh,
That was a lot. You did good there.
That was a lot.
That was a lot. Born in Sofia, Bulgaria in 1930, Mechoulum and his family relocated to Israel, where he began studying chemistry. His inspiration to start his successful hunt for THC began after wise observance of other drugs mechanisms. In an interview with CNN in 2014, Mechoulum pointed out that morphine had been isolated from opium in the 19th century. Early 19th century, cocaine had been isolated from coca leaves in the mid 19th century, and here we were mid 20th century, and yet the chemistry of cannabis was not known. So it looked like an interesting project. According to the National Library of Medicine, in 1964, he succeeded. And the story behind how Mechoulum obtained the cannabis he studied may surprise you. While working as a chemist in the early 1960s at the Weizmann Institute, Mechoulum got some weed from the Israeli police with his goal already in place: to discover and isolate what makes pot psychoactive. Once THC and other cannabinoids such as the aforementioned CBD and CBG were identified, in 1992, Mechoulum and his team discovered the chemical, oh my God, arachidonyl ethanolamine, which you know as anandamine.
Okay.
Derived from the Sanskrit word ananda, which means bliss. Anandamine is something our body's endocannabinoid system produces on its own.
It's a natural cannabinoid.
As if we're built to use cannabis.
It's an endocannabinoid because it's made in our body. It's like a natural one occurring in our body.
And it activates the CB1 receptor.
Deeply passionate and hardworking, Mechoulum continued his research right up to his death at the age of 88. At the cannabis conference CanMed in California in 2019, he announced another breakthrough. Synthetically stable cannabidiolic acid, CBDA, the main phytocannabinoid and fiber in seed oil hemp, which contains anti-inflammatory, anticonvulsant, and anti-carcinogenic properties. And that's And that's likely just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, this guy is at 88 still discovering things. We have taken the unstable acid molecules of the cannabis plant and synthesized them to provide a stable, consistent basis for researching new therapies across a wide range of medical needs, Mechoulum explained at the conference. He also used his stage time to encourage the scientific community to invest more into cannabis research, as enough time has already been lost, citing that many people for the past who would have vastly benefited from medicinal cannabis should have had it available to them. Did we have to wait 30 years? No, he said. We could have helped thousands of children, and we didn't. Rest in power, Dr. Mechoulum, and may everyone lucky enough to have access to the results of his work enjoy the power of plant medicine today. He really is the father of cannabis. That's a lot of accomplishments, and that's a lot of research. As we know, most of the research we have comes out of Israel and his research. I'm going to smoke one for him right now.
Well, I gotta pack one first.
Oh,
bro.
damn, bro.
Yeah, give me a sec.
Put a little bit more fresh on top. More fresher. More fresher.
Under pressure.
Oh. So rest in power, Dr. Mechoulum. Cheers.
Smoke one for you, homie.
Thank you.
I think my body was like, whoa,
Thank
that's
you.
enough. That's what you
It's a
heard.
lifetime of research there. Woo. All right. So if you're here, make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, hit that subscribe.
So you can hear us and see us cough from our hits.
And then I'm like, I don't know what other word to say other than hit that subscribe button, click on it, drag your mouse over to it, and go click,
Tap the screen on your phone.
Yeah, I don't know. Tap your
Tell your friends.
Even if you're just listening to us, just give it a random tap. Let the phone know
Tell your friends all
you
about
like
it.
that.
Now it's time for our next segment.
Take it away.
Those hits got us good.
I love you, Miami!
It's so funny. While we were at the park, the lady was shooing everybody off of the street because they were getting ready to do something. We were trying to walk over to the Transformers ride. And then suddenly they start playing salsa music. I believe it was a Gloria Estefan song, probably, because that's
It
our
was like,
queen
get on your feet.
or something. And everybody started. There's a whole dance sequence happening out in the middle of the street.
It was like
great.
a flash mob. It occurred, but it was all like their dance peoples.
And our bodies just went over there because the sound. The
you
music
guys
of
were
our
like
people.
moths to a flame. Like,
Oh,
we
yeah.
were walking to Transformers, and all of a sudden you went.
I was to turn around. I said,
I was
"Flash
like,
mob,
I guess we're gonna go watch this. Let's
choreography,
go."
costumes. Count me in.
High energy,
No,
fun.
no lines. I'm there, front row seat. They were good.
It was really
the
cute.
entire time I was like, look at these people with all that talent, and
They probably get paid garbage.
and I was like, these people who are the only people who could do this, because not a lot of people could do what those people do, and creators, very much like creators, I'm sure they don't get paid what they're worth, which I think are millions and millions of dollars. They were awesome. Anyways, we had to leave. I really wanted to stay there for the rest of the thing, but I didn't even know. I think they might have been.
No, they
close
were
to
already
over.
ending it. They were already ending it, and then we walked.
But it was
to
very
the ride.
nice. And our theme song, our intro to "I Love You, Miami"
Made you
reminds
think of
me that.
it. All right. Well, our story for Florida is that telehealth medical cannabis prescriptions could be coming to Florida under new bill.
Look at that guy. That guy's like,
So
"What's up?"
he's like,
and
"Hey,
the doctor's
doc.
like,
Hey, doc.
"What's up?" And he's like, "I want you to renew my prescription for my cannabis."
So those of us in Florida that are patients know that you have to go in person to see your doctor. They only allowed telehealth during the pandemic.
Which I never got to use telehealth. I never once got to use it. By the time I was gonna go, renewal was over.
Yeah. Well, discrete prescription refills via telehealth visits are already the norm for medications like hair loss and erectile dysfunction
wait.
medication for men.
Are you serious?
Which is easier to do when it's not in person. The same methods could be used to be discreet and quietly get prescription for medical cannabis under a new Florida bill. House Bill 387 is sponsored by Spencer Roach, Republican of Fort Myers. Oh my God, why is that a tongue twister for me? North Fort Myers.
We're running on low fumes here.
Yeah. And would allow practitioners to certify patients for medical cannabis via FaceTime, Skype, etc. Visits rather than in-person visits. Fantastic. Roach told the House Healthcare Regulations Subcommittee that the bill would treat this medical marijuana like any other medicine.
Doctors in Florida are doing it anyway, and the bill would simply make the practice legal. She's course. People in Florida don't
Doctors
care.
are doing it anyway.
Fuck it. And the bill would simply make the practice legal. Lawmakers said in so many words. It would also organize the way the rules are enforced. The bill would add a necessary and immediate tool to help the department when physicians break the rules, Roach added. Barry Gordon,
Hey, that doctor,
specializes in medical cannabis care in Venice, Florida. He told the House panel that using telehealth to be certified would benefit some of the sickest Floridians, the ones who need it most. It's a cost saving for patients, it's safe for patients, and it's critical, Gordon said at the hearing. If you have to remember that our patients are sometimes the most debilitated and weakest of the patients here in Florida.
Yeah, it makes it more accessible. Like to have to go into an office every time you need to renew and every time you're just trying to become a patient. That's not always.
I mean,
easy
listen,
for everyone.
any single time I can avoid having to show up in person for practically anything, like I'm all for it. Let's sign me up.
I think the argument is that I think the doctor's required to take your vitals for some reason.
Oh my God! So that would explain why the doctor would come at me with a stethoscope, and I'm like, "Is it this that serious?" And he would do that whole thing, and I was like, "I guess they need to do this."
So it's like a doctor visit to make I don't know
to make it
It's
official because you have to pretend everything around here. It's such a fucking show.
The Tampa Bay Times reports that over 2,500 doctors in Florida completed the training that allows them to order medical cannabis for patients. Voters said yes in 2016 by approving a constitutional amendment that legalizes medical cannabis. Nearly 800,000 patients have been certified for medical cannabis so far. Currently, doctors must provide a physical examination of a patient while physically present in the same room as the patient before certifying them and ordering medical cannabis. Not so fast, though. The bill also would allow the Department of Health to suspend a physician from being able to order medical cannabis for up to 2 years if he or she provides, advertises, or markets telehealth services prior to July 1st, 2023. Okay.
And what? Senator Jason Brodeur, a kind of dinosaur, I think, R. Sanford, filed a similar bill for consideration during the 60-day legislative session. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis suspended the state's face-to-face requirement for medical cannabis due to COVID-19, but it only applied for patients who were renewing medical cannabis certifications. People who need to see new doctors are out of luck. DeSantis' executive order expired in 2021. Some doctors continue to use telehealth to recertify patients anyways.
I mean,
it's Florida, so we do whatever we want.
Exactly.
We don't give a shit here.
Nobody gives a shit.
Oh, we gotta wear masks. Oh no, we don't. We do whatever we want here in Florida. And then so the land spoke, and so it was said.
So medical cannabis in Florida. Florida's Department of Health recently announced that it will open a new round of licensing for medical marijuana businesses that will double the number of vertically integrated cannabis operators in the state. In an emergency rule, the health department revealed that 22 new medical cannabis business licenses will be available, a move that would double the 22 operators currently licensed to produce and sell medical marijuana in Florida. The new emergency rule comes more than 6 years after voters legalized the medicinal use of cannabis. Meanwhile, the Wise and Free Florida Committee is seeking to get home growing in Florida via a proposal on the 2024 ballot, according to the State Division of Elections website. In order to do this, they would need to submit 891,589 valid petition signatures. We talked about that, but that's going to be very hard for them with not having millions and millions
I'm
of dollars
sorry.
of funding.
What year is the ballot supposed to be out?
2024, that's crazy. It's not going to make it.
Yeah, bro.
Not without the millions of dollars. Who's closer is similarly.
What?
The article says similarly. I can't speak, bro.
Similarly,
Safe, Smart and Safe Florida is seeking to get an amendment on the 2024 ballot that would legalize adult use cannabis. The Smart and Safe Florida committee submitted 291,999 valid signatures as of Friday.
Which no, they had double that. No, now they have double.
I
that?
thought it was 420,000
Yeah.
last week. So is this story before
might be.
last one? Yeah, it must be.
Maybe.
Yeah, because they did that whole story like,
About
oh, 420,000
signatures.
You're that fucking fan.
I know. I love it. $12 well spent, baby. I'm gonna get another fan so I can do 2 at a time. Hey, our interview.
I'm sorry.
Attention.
Hey.
Oh
I'm sorry.
my God, you just blew up the letters.
I did. I realized I didn't do it like we normally have it.
All right. No wonder I was struggling.
I was struggling so hard.
Font 1,000.
We always have our doc with all the content we're gonna go over, our outline, at like 200%, so it's like huge and easy to read. This whole time we've had it at the regular one.
Yo, nothing really puts your elder millennial life into perspective than having to blow up the document to read it like 1,000%.
Well, you have like you're blind.
And also, I'm blind, but also. And also being old now and being the parent in line at the ride. We
just did the whole show very well at regular size, okay?
We did. We knocked it out of the park.
We're not that old.
Good job. Hey, thank you for sticking around and listening to us. This next interview is someone who's been on the show before. We call her La Madrina.
La Madrina.
Because she's been one of the day ones. She's very supportive of all the cannabis moms in the community. She is a founder and CEO of Canna Mom Gang, a growing network of women connected through cannabis and motherhood. We love Laura, and we always have a good time talking to her. We hope you enjoy this interview.
Well, we're so happy to have you back. It's been a long time since we've had you on the show, and that we've actually really had a chance to talk. And we want to get caught up on all things Canna Mom Gang. We see you guys have been really active with your Zoom sessions and stuff. So we want to catch up our audience on what y'all have been up to.
Yeah, well, over the last couple of years, everything's kind of went back kind of inside and more personal, I would say. And so a lot of the Zoom sessions came about because, as women, we just like to sit and shoot the shit and just chit chat and whatnot. And like, we don't always have like an open schedule as far as like, I can come at this time. Well, I can't come. My kid has to nap this time. And my kid is this at this time. So it kind of is just an open link of it's twice a week. And it's just an open link and people come and go and chit chat. Some moms are cooking, some moms are doing like school pickup, some are sitting there working on other personal stuff, or some are even doing work stuff. And it's just a way to check in. And a lot of girls will be like, okay, I'm gonna come back later, I'm gonna do this and this and that. And it's just a safe place that you can have that, still sesh experience where you're checking in with your girlfriends. And if you just need to get something off your chest, there's a lot of times that some of the women be like, I really need to Zoom, and they'll just go, because the link is the same every time, and so they'll just go and click a link and say, hey, do you want to join me? And I have nothing to do with it, and I'm like, that's what I wanted. Like, they're just like, I'm like, it's working, they're just hanging out without me, that's all So, and that's pretty important, you know, and they kind of developed a, you know, a little family, and there's a lot of people that come all the time, but we're always like, you know, we want more people to feel comfortable joining and literally just talking about nothing. So there's no speakers. We're not going to ask you any questions other than how are you, maybe. And you can turn your camera off, because a lot of times people don't want to come to Zoom because it feels like class or a work meeting. But we're like, you have to talk. You don't have to turn your camera on, because even making friends as grown adults, I'm like, I don't go to events. I don't, like, even if I do, you know, as a kid, I was the wallflower. So I'm like, you're going to tell me that I need to go in a video sesh and then with my face and all that stuff, and someone's going to call on me? Absolutely not. So we just kind of say, you don't have to talk. And there has been a lot of moms that they'll just come and hang out and listen. And then you see they're like, get more daring. And then, you know, a couple months later, they're like telling dirty jokes. And I'm like, damn, this is like... So that's just kind of like one aspect that we've been kept going while that's become important, kind of like a lifeline for some. It's always there, but it's, you know, a lot of the regular moms have, you know, just developed some really good friendships and whatnot. So I love seeing all that, and I love seeing the other moms who are posting, oh, I met up with this mom and we had a session, we've been friends, and now we're friends in real life, and that's all the stuff. I love it. That's, you know, it's just the whole, like, I just wanted people to develop sisterhoods and friendships that were so fucking difficult growing up, and even within our own family systems and stuff like that. That's kind of what I've been trying to work on the last couple of years, is getting like the different chapters. I mean, I had them kind of made before, but I don't really do much with them, because I don't want to ask any more of anyone else when I'm only doing kind of the bare minimum of what I was doing for survival the last couple of years. So it's like, hey guys,
It's a lot, bro.
It is. How many
It's
chapters do
much.
you guys have right now currently made?
there's probably like 26 or 27, but those are not, they're just kind of exist.
They're not all active. They're just, you know, they're created with the intentions of becoming more active.
Because the intention was to create those so people say, oh, are there any moms near, you know, El Paso, Texas? I'm like, oh, ask, you know, go check out this chapter, and then they can have their own little, like, not like pods, but like
a hub, like a little area where you could get. I mean, like, sometimes it's you do need to see who's in your area, and then you start a conversation online, and ultimately it moves into person.
Yeah,
That's a great idea.
And there's been a lot of friendships that have led into in real life stuff, even across the country. And so, and the idea for the chapters was also, you know, when there was a lot of local stuff going on, like, oh, there's this local, like when you girls do like the local cannabis events around, it's kind of like, you know, not everyone knows. I don't know what's going on in Texas or, you know, Minnesota, but maybe they can kind of share, oh, this area is having this today, or, you know, another mom can be like, hey, I really need to get together, or whatever, play date with the kids. So that was kind of like the understanding for the chapters. So going forward, I really want to focus on actually using and those as resources and whatnot. So because we have the team, I'm like, all right, guys, just wait for my word, and then I'll tell, and then and then they're like, okay, and they're like still waiting. I'm like, just another couple of years, I'll be ready. You know, it's like.
I mean, but it's a lot. Like, there's a lot going on.
Yeah,
so
you're a mom of
ultimately, you
3
know,
boys.
if someone's asking, hey, I'm gonna be traveling, like this happens right to us, where they're like, hey, we're gonna be traveling, and you know, I want to hang out or meet somebody, or you know, even just whatever to get herb or whatever.
And also covering, like, you know, local cannabis laws in those areas and whatnot.
Right.
What are the cool spots that are, you know, more understanding of, you know, people using cannabis?
The idea, and you know, there are some that are active, because there's, you know, lots of awesome moms that are just kind of, I just said, do whatever you want, just keep, you know, certain things out of you know, the feed, and then just make it yours, meaning not like yours, but like to your area, cater, do whatever. I'm not going to hover. I don't want to be I don't want to micromanage.
For sure, because there's cannabis events locally too, and that's a really good way for people to see the social things, and maybe you know, show up one.
Find underground friends in illegal states, because that's fucking hard. Like in California and Florida, you know, we can post this and that, but you can't post any of that stuff, like in a whole bunch of states still. So
People from Texas usually are the most vocal too. They're like, bro, why can't it be legal here? It's like,
They're like, we're the second biggest state. Come
I
on.
know, I know. I think soon, right? I hope they get something out there soon.
I just saw that San Antonio is doing something. So how would if somebody wants to be involved in the chapter for their area, how would somebody go about getting involved?
Well, a lot of I try to tag. I mean, I haven't posted very often on my personal page. If I do a post about Canna Mom Gang, a lot of the times I'll tag the other chapters. There's some of the chapters tag in Canna Mom Gang, and they there's some past posts that have like them highlighted, and you can kind of like do a roll call. But a lot of it is just kind of searchable on Instagram. You can search, Canna Mom Gang and under the accounts, and a bunch of different chapters will come up. Or,
Will they all be
either-
Cannabis Gang underscore whatever the chapter is, or CMG?
well, they're all different because I had to come up with a.
Some names are longer than others.
Yeah. Some of them are Canna Mom Gang, some of them are CMG. But a lot of them are tagged and or just, message the account. A lot of times moms will be like, is there one for this area? And then, usually I'll just kind of send them back, or I'll tag them in something and say, this is where you're at. But I don't push that too much because there isn't a lot of activity in the chapters. It's kind of slow going, but I just want everyone to know that there is a place even locally as well as, in the main area. So anyway, that's kind of what I'm.
How about for the Zoom sessions? Like if I want to start attending the Zoom sessions, how does that happen?
You send an email to cmgsesh@gmail.com, and a lot of that info is in the links and whatnot. And then you're put on like an email list, and then you'll get the link every like Tuesday and Saturday. I'm sorry, every Thursday and Saturday. And it's the same all the time. So it's a email that comes. And I just always search the most recent email and click on it. So that's kind of what I do. And we have another mom that handles that. Gypsy does that with Joy and some other moms that do the emails. And so anyway, I love that the women are come together and they're like making arrangements on their own, because before they're like, can we do like a Zoom with an, art class or something? I was like, I don't give a shit. Do whatever the fuck you want. Like, oh, you can.
I always use this cup.
Yeah, keeps that shit hot for almost too long. Almost too long. Yeah, those are awesome cups. So I just love. I'm just stupid giddy for seeing women making friendships. I don't know. It's just hard for me. I was a floater.
You know what it is too? It's like, okay, back when we used to have parties all the time, because this one right here used to throw down.
I was the friend that always had the parties at the house, theme parties, Halloween parties.
And what the greatest thing is like so people would show up and they would invite other people and they would become friends with us, and then we would
they'd
see
always
them.
They'd always stick to Hialeah House.
Yeah, but then you would see them making plans and hanging out outside of your friend circle, and you're like, oh, there you go, you guys.
Yes, and you guys are still friends all these years later. It's like those friendships are important because you grow together and whatnot, and it's like the understanding of having someone that even shares cannabis and motherhood. It's just you're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, we're lucky to have that, but not all moms have that. So it's great that you've built and we've built similar space like this.
We got
yours is a much larger scale. Is there any plans in the works in the future for like to meet up like in person, any group events or anything like that?
Yeah.
I know you had done that before, the pandemic and all that a couple times.
I did. I hosted a couple things. I don't mind hosting, but I'm not like a host type per se. So it was more like, yeah, I'm welcome to open to my home. And so I'm open to doing that again. I just have to there's a whole bunch of no one can come on my house. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And I understand not wanting to host a house.
But also
it's easier to meet up in public somewhere and like
we're like
do something
Airbnb
together
too.
Yeah,
some Airbnb out there. That's what we're gonna do.
We're going to Orlando in March doing that.
Okay. We're actually working on. My husband and I. We're kind of working on checking out properties kind of more north of here and kind of, opening up a Canna gang wellness campground sanctuary
Yeah.
healing situation where, people can come and camp and, cabins and whatnot, RVs and this and that, but also that we want to develop a program so women and children, or, women in general, but women and children, if they need a place to get away from certain situations that they can't, particularly because they need some time to get on their feet, whether it be, people they need to stand up to, whatever, the situation. So places where they can come and even bring their children and do an extended stay, etc., and just kind of live and, offer resources and whatnot until they can kind of get where they want to be, and then they can kind of leave with job resources and references and whatnot, and then we kind of want to partner with some other type of wellness healing situations and kind of create like a whole situation where they can kind of, go there and thrive, and no one knows whether you're a fucking camper or you're there taking some time for yourself. So that's kind of, we've been camping and checking out properties on the road and seeing what's available, and, either doing it or not, because my husband just left his medical career after 14 years. He's like, let's do something else, because that's not as rewarding. You know how the medical industry is. It's not, if you're in it for the right reason, it's not rewarding currently. So, we just kind of both want to help people without an agenda behind it. And so we're just kind of checking out big ass properties so everyone has a place to come literally indefinitely. So that's kind of what we're brainstorming right now. And I'm excited and scared, but it's, it's time to do more and, have a place that is really for everyone. And
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
thanks.
Does
We like camping and, but it'll be glamping. Let's be honest. There'll be options.
there'll be hookups. You can bring your RV or your
Yes, we have tiny houses and, so we're
yeah.
charming. So those little silly paintings I've been painting, it's kind of like, no, I'm painting my cabin. That's where I want to hang out. So anyway.
I feel like when you're going through a mental health crisis, it's good to be in nature and to really get away and disconnect and be separate, like, and be, where there's trees and fresh air and
cool.
walking through the woods, and that is very therapeutic. And I wish we had that ability here in Miami. It's like I can't, like,
we're suburban hell.
who has to drive the Everglades to get something close.
But I'm in suburbia. I'm like in a tiny neighborhood up the hill. But like, and it's, so many women can't get out of those situations because they have children, and they will not ever put their children in a situation where they don't have food, shelter, and clothing.
Mm-hmm.
So they stay, which is something that, I was a product of my mother staying too long, and it affects the children even into their 40s. So I want people to have a place to go, and no one's saying that you have to leave, So I want to do more for women and children, not just make friends on Instagram,
Yeah.
Those friends are lifeline and important, but you know what I'm saying.
And the resources out there are so limited that a lot of times, even when women find the courage to leave, they end up having to go back because they don't have what they need to survive. Like,
the support.
you can't get the support unless you have a job. You can't have the job unless you have the childcare. You don't, like,
And
there's
so many of us had jobs
obstacles.
and all these skills before we became parents. And then we still have those skills, but we don't have the confidence because we haven't used them in so many years. I mean, I went back into hairdressing after 15 years, and even though I don't lose my skills, I still remember going back to work. I'm like, what? I don't. What? Even though I could run a fucking household, but I couldn't, like. It's different, So I just hate that there's, I've connected with a lot of people, and it's like I have personal in my head. I'm like, I just want to go scoop her up, and I want to go scoop them up, and I want to just but I can't. But I can if I do it this way. So that's what I want to do. And smoke about a weed. And
Smoke
grow,
a weed.
grow some vegetables, do that basic shit where you're just, meeting good people, helping good people, and just making a difference, even if it's just, one person at a time. That makes a difference, because so many women in prior generations of ours have struggled, and we're trying to break cycles of women that didn't know how. And that's what I'm trying to do. I don't know why that's 40 so hard.
Yeah, one thing that we've been
didn't realize
missing
Yeah.
going to 40 so hard is community, like going back to community. Like people need
There was more of a
community, and
village. We're expected to do more.
exactly.
There's zero village. It's
Right
all
now everybody's
comparison.
separated in
There's
their
no village.
homes.
It's the comparison. It's like, oh, I'm not good enough, and instead of saying that, like, the neighborhood, So anyway, that's what we'll see where that goes from here. But we're just kind of taking little baby steps right now and checking things out and seeing what's out there.
And that was Laura, aka La Madrina, which
Or
means
Mrs. Boys and Bud.
Mrs. Boys and Bud, at Mrs. Boys and Bud on Instagram, at Canna Mom Gang, and
www.cannamomgang.com.
she got some really cute merch.
I love their merch. Look, I'm actually using their cup right now. I use this cup all the time.
And if you're following us and you're a pot smoking mom, you're also part of the Canna Mom Gang, go over to there. A safe space for cannabis consuming parents. So please.
They have the Zoom sessions that we talked about.
And awesome plans that she has, goals for the future. I love that. Hey, thank you for listening. And thanks to our sponsors, Fluent.
Yes. Thank you, Fluent Cannabis Care, for sponsoring our smoke sesh.
You guys rock. And then a special thank you to patrons.
Yes, very special. We need to add an updated picture to go with this one from this trip.
My bad.
It's
my
okay.
Bad.
It's all good. Stay tuned. Follow us on YouTube if you haven't. If you're not yet, so you can see it.
So you can see our pictures, guys. Very fun. In the rotation, and our OG patrons, Yane,
Destiny,
Lauren,
Jesse,
Christy,
Denise,
Peaches,
Meredith,
Natalie,
Angelina,
Jenny,
Catherine,
Jay,
Chrissy,
Guillermo,
Diane,
Gabby,
and Leslie.
Hey, you too could be part of the rotation. Become a patron for early access to episodes, additional content,
access to our Discord.
Access to our Discord mainly. That's like number one. We're on there all the time. Look, if you're watching on YouTube, we have a QR code that you can use.
Go to our Patreon. We planned out our whole trip on Discord. We have regular smoke sessions.
Yeah, they were sitting there talking about, they were having a smoke sesh because like you can go live on camera. There's a bunch of people show up. Anytime anybody's like after work or something, they're like, hey, you want to sesh real quick? Oh yeah, I'm available. And then they hop on.
Yeah.
These girls were saying that they were mapping out all the rides they were gonna hit.
We pretty much stick to the plan that we made that day.
And that is so freaking adorable.
We're like, we're going to
cute.
start here. We're going to hit up everything along the way this way. We even said we probably won't even go to Fast and the Furious because it's kind of that way. We want to go this way to have lunch here. We did all of it.
So awesome. Hey, subscribe, rate, review our content. Give us an internet hug.
Give us an internet hug. See you next week, guys. Bye.
Peace.